Recently, This Is America and the World visited the Republic of Uzbekistan. It's a beautiful country, rich in Silk Road history and culture, the crossroads of civilization where East meets West, and 300 days of sunshine a year. It's an important country in Central Asia. Borders are open with neighboring countries. There's new construction everywhere, and freedom of speech, religion, and the press are all front and center. Today, under the leadership of its president, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, it's a country on the move. They call it the new Uzbekistan. It's a young country, this year celebrating its 30th anniversary of independence from the Soviet Union, with a young population, 35 million people, 60% under 30 years old. The people of Uzbekistan are friendly and welcoming, and their gesture of hello, goodbye, with the hand over the heart, says it all. This Is America and the World visits the Republic of Uzbekistan. Underwriting for This Is America and the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotendaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, Uniting People Through Musical Diplomacy. In the capital city of Tashkent, I had the opportunity to talk with Uzbekistan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, who formerly served as ambassador to the United States. 30th anniversary of independence for Uzbekistan. Why is that important?
You know, first of all, Uzbekistan became independent state. And this year we are going to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this independence. On the one hand, of course, Uzbekistan is a young country. On the other hand, Uzbekistan has very deep historical tradition of the statehood. And maybe you have heard of a lot of Khanate and empires, and the empire of Amir Timur, who united Central Asia. And you have visited Samarkand. Samarkand was the capital of the empire of Amir Timur. And it was a very interesting period in the development of the region and Uzbekistan as well. And now we are building a new state. During your visit, you saw a new face of Uzbekistan, and this event is very important for us from the point of view. We have independent state with its sovereignty, independence, territorial integrity. We have our own internal and foreign policy. We realize our national interests, and we have established close ties with great powers, with our neighboring countries. And this is also very important for regional issues. Why? Because we have begun new policy, new relationship, new cooperation with immediate neighbors, and we'll be speaking about that later a little bit. And also, we are paying very serious attention to regional security. And we are free in our activity, and Uzbekistan also has taken its own place in international community. This is very important. Uzbekistan is a member of many international organizations, beginning from the United Nations, OAC, and others.
When folks back home in America, across America, look at Central Asia, that's all new to them. Tell us why we should be interested in Central Asia.
You know, Central Asia recently has been becoming more and more important from the geopolitical point of view. Why? Because This is a very interesting region between China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and other big regional players. And secondly, we have a lot of natural resources, and this is the crossroads of the region and between the East and the West. And also we are facing some very serious challenges as terrorism, extremism, the problem of Afghanistan. And all these problems may be solved only on the basis of wide international cooperation. And that's why, of course, many great powers have their own interests here. And what are these interests? We'll speak about that later. And that's why we think that Central Asia has become one of the most important geopolitical center now.
We'll put a map on the screen, but would you tell us a little bit about the neighborhood, the countries in the neighborhood with Uzbekistan at the center?
This is, Dennis, very interesting and very important question. Why? Because if you take a look at our priority of our foreign policy, the constructive relationship, friendly relationship, and close cooperation with immediate neighbors. For Uzbekistan, they are Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, as well as Afghanistan. We are paying very serious attention, and President Mirziyoyev defined that as a top priority of our foreign policy. And that's why it is very important how we shape, how we build our relationship with those countries. In this case, Uzbekistan, on the one hand, has a very unique position, being in the center of Central Asia. On the other hand, we will have a lot of issues which must be solved with each of them. Yeah.
Okay.
And recently, over the past 3-4 years, we could solve a lot of very important, very sensitive, very difficult problems with respect to water management, state borders delimitation and demarcation, and energy resources and others. And we could create a new political environment now in Central Asia. And President Mirziyoyev initiated regular summits of the heads of states of Central Asia. We will have some of them. We have already had some of them, and we will have the next in the nearest future, maybe in Turkmenistan.
Looking at Uzbekistan in the center of these, you're playing an important leadership role, huh? Leadership Uzbekistan in the region.
You know, we understand our responsibility, but at the same time, we don't want to play the key role or to be the leading country or to play some special role in the region. But at the same time, we have some initiatives to improve the situation, to strengthen security. I'll give you some examples. In 2018, President Mirziyoyev initiated international conference on Afghanistan. And this conference was a ministerial level conference and was very important to push peace process in Afghanistan. And this conference stirred up new political activity around that country. And that's why we want to build equal relationship with our neighboring countries, friendly relationship. Why? Because we have a lot of commonalities. We speak the same group of languages, we share the same religion, and we use the same rivers and energy resources, and we use the same transport communications. And that's why I think this is, from this point of view, is a very unique region.
You've opened the borders.
Yeah.
What's next?
We've opened the borders. Next is to strengthen our political, economic, and security cooperation with all neighboring countries. And the next step also is that we have in our agenda, we still have some problems which have been not solved. And that's will continue our negotiations, but in better conditions, on the basis of mutual trust, mutual understanding, and friendship.
We're right next door to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan is so important. Let's talk about that for a little bit. U.S. is leaving?
Yeah.
September 11th. End. What's your feeling?
You know, of course, we have different visions here in the region. And at the same time, before I'll tell you about that, I'd like to say some principal issues, positions. First of all, we must know about Afghanistan that there is no Afghan crisis. There is no military solution. This is the first. The second is very important. Afghanistan must be an integrated part of Central Asia, one single common region. And the third is it is necessary to have regional and international common approach towards peace process in Afghanistan. And that's why we support all formats of negotiations in Doha and other places, in Turkey and maybe somewhere else. And Uzbekistan was the first country to establish direct contacts with the leaders of Taliban. Yes. And frankly speaking, we were criticized at that time that it was recognition of Taliban, but this is real opposition. And the question is, what will be the political system in Afghanistan? Of course, we cannot accept something which Afghanistan had in the 90s and Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. But at the same time, we think that this problem must be solved on the base of mutual compromise between the government, the existing government, and between the military opposition, Taliban and others. And what does it mean? It means that, of course, there must be some serious elements of Islamic rules, and it will be Islamic country, of course, because the majority they are Muslims. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the democratic achievements over the past 9 years. For example, existing government, elections, and military forces, security forces, the rights of women, the rights of girls, and civil society, and others. But at the same time, we must respect Islamic values.
What does the Taliban want?
Taliban want, first of all, withdrawal of...
They got that?
Yes.
Who are they going to fight next? No more enemy.
You know, no more enemy. But at the same time, the conflict in Afghanistan, it was the civil war. The civil war. It was not just fighting against U.S. military troops or NATO. It was the civil war, and the society has been divided.
Are they going to be fighting each other?
Yes, of course. It will be. We have no any illusion that it will be very easy to agreement between the military opposition and the government. But at the same time, international community must help them. Must help both sides to reach an agreement, and we cannot ignore the seriousness of the situation in Afghanistan. And of course, we will insist on reaching national agreement, reconciliation within Afghanistan.
You said, Excellency, not only the Taliban, but other enemies within the state. Who are the others?
I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't want to call them enemies or enemies. They all are members of parts of Afghan society.
But military opposition.
Military opposition. Not just military opposition. You know, there are a lot of other parts which have not participated actively in this process. Please take the leaders of some parties, political parties, traditional leaders, religious leaders, leaders of some regions, and so on. And that's why, additionally to Taliban, they also must participate in this process.
One question before we move on, because I know you have a very important conference coming up here.
Yeah.
But one question, because of the folks back home. Is the Taliban interested in power, peace, or do they see the potential of the area? Because the potential is huge, is it not?
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to advocate the Taliban, but at the same time, I'd like you, Dennis, to take a look at the publication of Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan in their site, and it was the position of Taliban, what type of country they need. Very interesting article, and I'll send you. And they say that we want independent and sovereign country without any interference from outside. We don't want our territory to be occupied by foreign military forces. We want to guarantee rights of women, girls, and so on. And women can serve in education, in medical areas, and so on. And we want to build friendly relations with neighboring countries, and so on, so on, so on. And that's why I think that there is the wide space to work there on the common interests of the government and opposition, and they must to widen this space and reach agreement in the interests of the Afghan society. And moreover, I heard some oppositions used to say that if Afghan people choose presidential republic, we'll agree.
Big conference coming up here.
Yeah, and
talk about that.
And coming back to the big conference, we think that it is very important for our region to strengthen connectivity between Central and South Asia. And that's why President Mirziyoyev initiated international conference on Central and South Asia, regional connectivity, challenges and opportunities. Yes, and that's why when we speak about South and Central Asia, Afghanistan is in the center, in between. And our idea is to connect this region through Afghanistan and to carry out very serious transport, energy, communications, and projects. And one of them, building a road,
railroad?
Yes, from Central Asia to South Asia through Afghanistan. In this case, Afghanistan may profit from these road communication, and Pakistan and other countries of Central Asia also have their own interest to have direct access corridor to Central Asia from South Asia through Afghanistan. And we have confirmation from the foreign ministers of South Asian countries and from ministers of Central Asia that they will take part at that conference. And the president of Afghanistan also promised to come to the opening ceremony, and as well as Prime Minister of Pakistan.
So the railroad would travel from Uzbekistan through
Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and
Pakistan.
Pakistan. We have already built within Afghanistan up to Mazar-e-Sharif, and now from Mazar-e-Sharif to Kabul, and from Kabul to Peshawar. And the World Bank supported this project, and World Bank is ready to help to prepare feasibility study financially.
Do the people of the area, do they see the potential that could, hopeful potential and optimism toward Afghanistan?
You know, we have some optimism. Why, Dennis? Because you know, the situation has changed. If you take a look, what was the situation, for example, 2 years ago? And today, what positive changes happened? First, there are two parts. They have begun direct contacts. This is first time over the past 40 years. They have their agenda, and international community is more active to bring peace and stability to Afghanistan. And Taliban also wants to have these direct talks to reach agreement. And they, you know, sometimes people say Taliban's movement, terrorist organization. Yeah, of course, maybe they had some contacts within Afghanistan with different extremist organizations and so on. But at the same time, Dennis, you cannot give me any example that Taliban over the past 40 years organized some terrorist attack beyond national borders of Afghanistan. Neither in Central Asia, nor in Europe, or somewhere else. Yes, this is when I met Mullah Baradar, Taliban's leader in Doha, and our journalist asked him, how you are going to build your relationship with neighboring countries? He said about Uzbekistan, we will never permit any organization in Afghanistan to take some action against Uzbekistan.
One last question about Afghanistan before we move. Do you see the Taliban as a terrorist organization or not?
My personal view,
yes.
My personal view, I don't think so. Why? Because how United States deal with Taliban and sign an agreement,
okay.
an agreement between the United States and Taliban. Okay. Because this is very clear-cut principle of the United States.
Yes, they will not.
You will never have, you didn't have, you don't have, and you will never have any direct talks with terrorists. Okay.
That's the answer, huh?
Yeah, that's the answer.
You say the United States. How do you characterize the relationship between Uzbekistan and the United States right now?
You know, we have our relationship is on the top, and especially we have done a lot over the past 4 or 5 years when President Mirziyoyev took power and became president of Uzbekistan. And his visit in 2018 was a historical visit. Why? Because we launched a new era of strategic partnership, and we opened new page in our relationship. And today I could say, Dennis, that we have a comprehensive agenda of our bilateral relations. We have been cooperating in all possible areas. We have political, economic, investment, financial, security, educational, cooperation and our cooperation on the regional security issues, and we have excellent practice and potential of our cooperation on regional issues and as well as on Afghanistan, and that's why I could say that this is of course our priority, our relationship with the United States, and you know. What is very important, I'm covering the relationship between Uzbekistan and the United States for more than 20 years. And that's why I could say that first time President Mirziyoyev has taken very serious decisions to remove some irritants from our agenda as human dimension issues, child labor, forced labor, religious freedom, and mass media freedom, and others. And that's why we have a very positive atmosphere to further develop our relationship in all areas.
So there really is a new Uzbekistan.
Yes, it's a new, of course, it's new Uzbekistan.
Do you have a message for the American people?
Yes, of course, I have a message, and
you know us well.
I always remember very warmly my service in Washington. I like Washington and my service in the United States, and I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends there, and right now, of course, I have a lot of wishes. But right now, I want to wish American people to overcome pandemic consequences and difficulties and problems as soon as possible, and to come back to previous rhythm of life.
Yes.
And especially, and also, I wish very much American people to visit Uzbekistan. Yeah. And I'd like to say, welcome to New Uzbekistan.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please take care.
Thank you very much.
It was great to see you.
Thank you. Hotel accommodations provided by the Hilton, Tashkent City. For information about This Is America in the World, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, or our YouTube channel, This Is America TV, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Underwriting for This Is America in the World is made possible by the Japan-America Society of Washington, D.C., the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Sultanate of Oman, the Kingdom of Morocco, the National Association for Children of Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery, the Forerunner Foundation, the Rotendaro Family Trust, and the Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy.